the kind of person that somebody's got to show me that this thing works, it's going to produce me income. I'm not going to spend a moment with it. So I've constantly been doing that, and it actually works. I can show you the metrics of how it works as far as your numbers are concerned.
It's working for me.
Yeah. Gosh, now I'm gonna be a long way over here. Wait a minute. I'm gonna be over there.
Yes. We can try.
I'll show you stuff. I'm gonna be really simple today, just show you the basics, because probably after I do this, you're gonna have tons of questions anyway. And that's all it is.
There's a podium there, right behind you.
Yeah, there is.
You can
It's
make
all
it.
fancy and everything. But I guess they're there for a reason, right? Okay, so where I always go to first is like, so I started off in like about 4 years ago, and it's just like any business, you're not going to build it really fast and spend tons of money to test something out. I was testing the waters out really slow. So what I did was, I said, all right, I see these platforms, all the reps were bugging me saying, come on and do our thing. So I had 3 different reps, one with Zillow, one with Trulia, one with Realtor.com. I said, all right, I'm going to give you a test run. $150 a month is what I did. Like $150 for Zillow, something around $150 for Trulia, because they all have a little bit different stuff, but about $150. So I wasn't spending a lot of money. And I said, let me just give a short-term run, like 3 or 4 months. I'll spend a little bit of money to see if I can get a return. And so it's so funny at the beginning, like you're doing this, and so I had each one of the reps on the phone. It's like I had my Realtor.com reps, like, so Kevin, I'm doing this. I just want you to know I'm doing it with Trulia and Zillow too, you know. And he's like, oh no, but their platforms. Kevin, if you make me more money, I'll stay with you. You know, it was just kind of fun, just going with it like that. And so every rep was kind of like that. But so what I found out was that all of them made me money. I mean, you had a profit. I'm like, okay. I want my return on investment to be the highest I can on each one of them. And so I just started slow like that, and I built it now to where I'm spending a good bit of money, but I'm also making a good return on every dollar. I would never have spent, if you told me when I started, I'm going to be spending what I am right now, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Well, wait a minute. But I'm making this, and it's true money coming in. So that's where I began. So what I'm going to go to is I'm going to start with the Realtor.com site. Let's just say like you're a buyer, you're a prospect, you're going to get on Realtor.com. Let's see what it looks like.
Your left hand's not working very well on the side. So, still in your seat, Lauren.
Yeah, take it please. So I don't know if you guys have investigated here a little bit, but just like I like to go in and act like I'm the buyer. What does it look like to me? What does the template look like that I'm going through? So that's the first place on there. So what I did was, let me just do 22902, which is like Belmont, Mill Creek, Redfields, that part of town down there. And you do a quick search like you're the buyer. So you're going to pop up some listings. All right, so the interesting thing, and what I want to talk about is the nuance between Realtor.com and Zillow and how they're a little bit different when you look at their sites. This house right here actually came up on one of my searches, which is a very nice house over on Milton Drive. So the first thing you see is like they've got, if you're the buyer, you're going to say, okay, well, this is the first thing they put up here in your face. Well, if I want more proper information, you have to fill in your name, you have to fill in your email and phone number, and then you do contact agent. But what you see here, you have no idea who you're contacting. You have no idea who's going to come back to you on Realtor.com. So what happens is on Realtor.com, you can buy a zip code. And in that zip code right there, 22902, you can buy what they call shared leads or unshared leads. Now, I did the shared leads for a long time. With this, my last contract, I got kind of a little bit disgusted with my rep and said, I want to change my contract, and want to change it, so I kind of let it expire. Because what I found out was things change constantly in this industry. If you're going to be in here for a year, by the end of a year, it'll all be different. You have to just flow with it and learn how the thing changes. Because when I started, I'm like, oh, it's shared with one other agent. So if this is a shared lead, a prospect clicks that button, then bam, out to your phone comes, hey, your Realtor.com lead to you, and it goes to one other agent.
So it doesn't go to the listing agent.
Mm-hmm. See, notice right here, you can't tell who the listing agent is.
Right. But filling that out and hitting, contact agent does not go to the listing and another, it goes to
It
whoever's
goes to
logged
whoever
in.
paying for that zip code.
Got it.
Yes.
You're saying that if, on a given day, in 22902, there's at most one or two agents that would be in that,
It's a whole lot more.
There's a whole lot more than
okay, so,
that. And you pay for certain percentages.
You're exactly correct.
So the more you pay, the more percentage of leads you get.
There's probably 20 agents buying that zip code.
Yes.
I get it. And you'll get it concurrently. Everybody gets an email concurrent.
No, every time, if I click that kind of contact agent right there, if you, Bob, are paying for shared leads, and it's your turn in the line to get the next lead,
It's my turn.
it's gonna go to you and one other agent, and it's like, who gets to them quickest?
Is it usually just two agents it goes to?
For Realtor.com, it's only 2 agents. And it took me a long time to ask all these questions to my reps to get all this stuff straight. Okay, I understand that.
But it's like a scrolling.
Yes.
There may be 20
Next
total.
agent in line gets the next one.
But if I've got a 25% market share,
Yes, and again, these different platforms treat these little questions a little differently, but it's the same concept of, if you buy more, you're gonna get more hits.
Is it,
you may not get more sales, but you're gonna get more hits.
More prospects that you'll have an initial hit with.
is it on a rotating, obviously by percentage for every click, or is it by a day? Is it for every click? So in other words, if you click on that, it's going to Bob and Tim, and somebody clicks on it later today, is it going to Bob and Tim, or is it rotating that way?
That's a very good question. I have not the exact answer. I'm sure it's an algorithm they have built into the
Right.
thing, because if they got 25 agents buying that zip code, different agents are buying different, like,
Tim.
like Tim said.
Easy.
It's like Tim too, and Tim said, if you're
It's
buying,
not that one per day.
if you're buying a larger percentage of that zip code than another agent, you're gonna get more leads. Now, how do they divide that up? I don't know how to do that.
That's scary.
So the interesting thing is that you can see here, you can't see who the listing agent is, but you can keep scrolling down the page. I'm just trying to treat myself as an uneducated member of the general public who's looking at the property. How do I look at it? Well, the first thing I see is, well, if I want information, I'm gonna go to get more information here. I'm gonna fill these things out, and it's gonna contact agent. It's gonna go to one of us that's paying for it. Then down here, if you keep scrolling down, you have to go way down. Now, you can expand any of these guys and open up more information, but if you go way down to the bottom, you can see down here who it's presented by. Now, there's the listing agent. In this case, it's Sasha. So, but it's not on the forefront. You can't really see that. You have to know what you're looking for. Most buyers, they're not gonna go try to find out Sasha Farm. They're gonna go contact agent. It's gonna go to the
But they could, right? So that's
They could.
one of the maybe potential negatives. You could be, in theory, paying to get contacted here. The person could go down and just connect with the seller directly. I'm not saying that's likely, I'm saying, but that's a possibility.
I would say it's correct, but when you buy the leads, they can't, I don't know if they can guarantee us, but they say, if you buy so many shares of this zip code, you're gonna get X number of leads per month. 6, 8, whatever that number is. And I've seen it, it's pretty accurate. You're gonna get what they say you're gonna get.
Now, excuse me, and I'm sorry to be rudimentary. Sasha's not paying to have this put on here. They're picking this up off the MLS system.
I think they're required to put her here.
And so they're putting that, there's no cost to Sasha, or any of the other listing agents. It's going out there, and so it's kind of free game on what they're basically selling.
That's correct.
It's almost free advertising for you out there as a listing agent, so
Yeah.
you've got the listing. And that's how they're making money, off your listings.
Good morning.
What happens?
Okay, that's great.
Do you have a question?
You just answered it.
It's a little different on Zillow though,
Yeah.
Correct, so we haven't gone there.
Okay.
Yes.
because I've been doing that, so.
Are you doing these, Zillow?
Yeah,
You're doing leads?
yeah,
Oh, good.
after I met with you, I'm like all in.
Is it good?
Cool.
Has it been good so far?
Yes, I'm gonna like do a little tracking of this year.
So, well, now you got me intrigued, so when.
No, we can stay on Realtor.com.
We are.
Oh,
So, I'm doing both.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm not doing either Realtor.com right now because my contract expired.
No, we're talking about
We
the
would talk about it, but you personally are only on Zillow.
At this very moment, I'm gonna pick back up Realtor.com. Because things have changed. And I didn't like the way that things ended because I was on the shared leads. And my point was, what has changed over time. Earlier when I started and I was doing the shared leads, nobody was really doing these automated text returns to the clients.
Right.
I personally, this is just me, I don't care for that. I'd rather, because I'm pretty quick, I can get them within 5 minutes, usually. If I see it come in, it's like, this is important, I'm paying for this. I'm gonna do a quick phone call first. If I don't get them, I'll leave them a nice message saying, hey, this is Maury, I just saw your Realty.com request. Let me know if I can be of help, but I'll send you an email to send you some basic information. I'll go to my email if I'm at home, if not, whenever I get there. I'll just look up the property, like in this one, I'll look up the property, and I'll do something really, really basic and simple just to give them some information. I'll kind of look up the, is it occupied, is it vacant for showing? And I'll just email them and just say, hey, the Milton Road property is currently available. It looks like I got to set up a showing if you want to see it. Let me know if I can be of help, and then I'll send them a text. So you hit all 3 manners. I don't know, Karen, how you hear it, but I do kind of hit all 3 bases now. A phone call, a voice message if I don't get them, and I'll send them an email. So they'll see who I am, and I have the footer of my email so they can check me out. And I'll send them a text, or a real quick text, hey, just got your Realty.com request, just sent you an email.
So you didn't like that automatic text return, so you can,
But other people use it, and so I don't want to cut it down, it's just, I don't like it.
but you can choose not to have that.
Correct.
Okay.
And then also, do you get any heads up before your call comes in that that's or the text comes in that could be one of the properties you could be talking about?
When you get the lead here,
Yeah.
it'll show you the contact information of the person. Sometimes it's fake stuff, like they'll put in a phone number that's like 222-3333. And so you know that's not real.
Right.
But normally it'll have an email address or
Right.
something. And it'll have the property information,
Okay.
just like this.
So when you call, if
oh,
you're calling them back right away, you're doing a real quick study there as far as.
That's exactly right. So I don't know if you guys use the Paragon on mobile, but that's really helpful because you could just use Paragon mobile here, plug in an MLS number and just quickly look at the information on the listing on your phone. And you can find out if it's, occupied or vacant or whatever. I just kind of do that I'm really simple. I like to do simple stuff. So I just find out if it's occupied or if it's vacant, and that's the only thing I'm gonna call them back with. When somebody clicks the button, it just says it's all I'm interested in, and they don't write anything else in there. They just click the button. That's all they did, because it always does the same thing. Now, Carolyn, you probably experienced it. If they write something, you're like, oh, they're asking a specific question. Then you can kind of you can look at the question before you respond and go back and say, hey, I saw you asked about blah, blah, blah. And, just basic. And the whole goal is to start a relationship. I don't care if you buy that house. I'm just trying to get the first meeting and start a relationship and get a client.
And so can you elaborate on that? Because as I'm listening to you, I guess I'm thinking to myself, one, they could be looking at 12 houses. They could click on 12 houses in 6 different zip codes and be getting 24 realtors calling.
You got it.
So I'm wondering how that goes over. 2, they're probably not qualified, right, financially. You don't know them. You're calling them. You have no idea whether they can afford what they're looking at. And so I guess I'm wondering how it works. You started this presentation with it works. So I'm sure it makes you money, but how do you convert them to a client?
Right.
How does that go? And maybe I'm preempting your talk.
No, it's all good. It's a good question. It's kind of case by case. And so you asked, so 2 good questions. And to me, to be simple, again, many times I say, please treat me like a farmer stepping off a John Deere tractor. I like it simple. 2 questions. Are you working with another agent? Have you met with a lender? If we get past those 2 and the answer is yes and yes, we have a winner maybe, So I'll show you this one. I brought 3 different leads that I just printed out that I've met all 3 of these people. And here's one of them. I'll just give you one of them. This is from Zillow. This lead came in October 25th. And if any of y'all have seen, if you've got searches going on for people, there's a home over in the Milton area in Villa Verde Lane. I don't know if you all saw that. And you can see, I'll just give you can pass this around. So this is the client. This is going to be a new client of mine. And the way this one progressed, and you have to just look at that. So that's my printout. And I already met that client 3 days ago at that house from Zillow. Her and her husband, they just came back from the farmer's market. He actually sells candles at the farmer's market. She works at the elementary school just up the street from there. Stone Robinson. She is, so that was one, Carol, I don't know if you got these, but it was one that came on in like the Zillow lead. It says, we won't make in contact with this person because they contacted multiple agents. Do you get that often? Okay.
Also gives you answers his question that if they popped on in X amount.
Yeah, but there's nuance. So in that situation with Zillow, what that means is that basically that client has clicked on one house over here, kind of like Bob said, and then she saw another one and clicked on another house over here. So I might have been in the rotation that got the lead on that one, but the one over there, somebody else got it. Nobody knows if anybody has made that person a client yet. I've got great success in those because they haven't made a decision yet. And I just caught, basically we started a phone conversation. I said, I'm not the listing agent on that house, so if I show it to you, I'll be looking out for your interest, not the seller's. Just kind of simple.
Yeah.
Stuff
I'm
like that.
telling you, when we were coaching, you got about 2 minutes.
You got it.
You got 2 minutes to create a connection with that person. If you don't, you're gonna lose it.
Yeah.
Like when you're cold calling a recruit and we had to pick it up, you had 2 minutes to really figure out. So you have to really, to me, figure out how to make that connection in 2 minutes. By
But you're
asking
not going to
questions.
get everyone,
No, you're not. You're not gonna get everyone,
They're going to be like,
but your first 2 minutes are your,
What are your to make it worthwhile, what is the kind of your conversion rate? 1 out of 10?
That's a good question. I haven't run my exact numbers.
What's your instinct though?
one closing out, they said to me like 20 to 25.
That's what they say, and at that kind of rate, I'm just looking at my net numbers is what I'm looking
That's
at.
me too.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
When you, I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Those two.
When you're looking at, like when you were starting out, and when you decided whether it was profitable, how long a time did you allow for that? In other words, you're not gonna come out of the blocks probably and be one out of every 25. You're gonna have to give it a pretty good study period.
That's it. You got to give yourself a decent sample size.
Yeah.
And you want to do that if you haven't given it a
Did
shot.
that just kind of take care of itself? You kind of figured it out in retrospect?
You constantly got to be modifying. 'Cause
Right.
The thing is changing all the time.
Yeah.
Zillow just changed, and I don't know if Carol, they're changing in November over to the concierge stuff completely, it sounds like.
That's what I've been doing, the concierge.
Good, and so you've been talking to your rep, I've been talking to my rep, and your rep isn't Christine, is it?
No, Ryan.
Okay.
or Matthew, someone, they're kind of like three.
Yeah, I know.
The
So already you had
latest
three.
guy, the latest guy's very.
So do you know approximately, do they give you any idea of how many realtors in this area
I'll show you something on Zillow.
participate in this?
Have you ever gone and seen where you stand with the other
Oh,
agents?
yeah.
Isn't that
I'm
fun?
like, I'm going above him.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I'll spend him, I'm doing
Yes.
fine.
So you
It's
gotta
like
be,
Googling yourself.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
competitive, I'm like, I'm gonna spend just a little bit more.
Then
But
that's
I'm
fine.
kind of going all in one zip code, so. Because I've just found that with the amount of money I want to spend, and I put a little bit in, remember how you were saying, you went into 292.
yes, that's my big producer.
So mine's Crozet, but
Good.
I've tried a fewer dollars, but I'm so far down the pipe, I'm like 13%, I'm like, well, who's gonna, but I'm in the top 3 in Crozet, so.
Yay. So like, did your rep tell you if you get in the top 3, then you get in this extra special placement on stuff?
Oh, yeah,
So it was funny for me, like mine, there's, I don't know what kind of company Tim Grossman is with, but if y'all, I don't know if you run into Tim Grossman. I don't know where he's with, but so I had bumped myself up to, I was in the top 3 of 22902. So Nikki Lewis, which used to be with our office, she's opened up her own company. It's like, Nikki, she's above me. And she's right there above me. She's number 2. So I was into number 3. So I'm like, okay, I'm into the number 3 spot. And then, so I was like at 40%. Tim Grossman was like 38.9. Well, then I went back in 2 days later and I saw Tim jump a few points above me. It's like, oh, crap. I'm going to buy a little bit more and get above Tim. Anyway, so he's left it alone. Now I'm in the top 3. So anyway, so this client, so this is the way it started in my communication with Deborah. And you know, she says here, I'm interested in Villa Verde, but I could see she wrote something else in versus just a boilerplate. She wrote in, I'm a teacher at nearby Stone Robinson, please call out to 2:30 most days, thank you, Deborah Sellers. And when I looked up that on Zillow, it said, we're not gonna contact this person because she's contacting multiple agents. Well, that's fine, I don't mind, I'm gonna do my 3 contacts. And I contacted her and she's like, yeah, so I set up a time, we saw it, I think it was Saturday. Met her and her husband over there after they got back from the city market. Very nice folks, have not, now I started, Bob, at the beginning, doing my pre-questions of, have you talked to a lender yet? I sort of decided against that.
Yes.
I want the first face-to-face meeting.
So
I'll take my
your
time
goal
with
is
that.
to get the appointment.
Yeah.
I know the house.
That's my point, is that would be like the lender stuff, or you're working with somebody.
Just take your chance.
I just had a client like that, and I went and met with her, and then once you get them face to face, that's when you get her.
But you do ask if they're working with somebody first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
And
do
then
that.
the lender wait till face to
But
face.
you do that later now, though, right?
No.
The first question.
Another question you ask now.
Zillow, actually, with concierge, they already do that for us. We'll talk about that later. I haven't gone there yet. That's a different story. We're doing the simplerealtor.com, you just get a lead, what do you do with it thing right here. So on my initial communications via text, first voice message, and first email, I do it, it's kind of modifying all the time. You're trying to find the most comfortable way to ask the right question and get the truth out there, rather than being all professional and business-like.
It's conversational versus like a quiz.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, Deborah, just by the way, if I show you the house, it's not my listing. So if you're not yet working with an agent, and I show you the house, I'll be looking out for your interests. That's enough information for her to, if they're working with an agent, unless they're gonna be dishonest with me, they'll say, well, yeah, we'd love you to show us the house. And that's what happened. And so I showed it to them. I'm sitting there with them in the kitchen. Have you guys talked to a lender yet? Well, we're about to do it. Well, if you don't have any, I'll send you 2 good ones. And you get pre-qualified because we shouldn't do anything else until you do that. They're like, okay. So I've already emailed them that. I sent them Jay and I sent them one other good lender I know. And I'll just let them choose. And everybody can handle that differently. That's just how I do it. I want to be able to give some choices to people, let them make their own choice. So I'm waiting to hear back from Deborah and her husband. Where's another one that came in? I don't know if you've ever showed that thing down there at the Farms of Turkey Run, 925,000. It's been out there. Get this, days on the market, 2351.
Whoa.
7 years.
Yeah.
So when you get this lead, so you got this lead, whatever her name was, so you passed it out.
Yes.
That's a qualified lead. They've shown an interest in the home. They've gone to the trouble of typing in, taking the step of walking in the store and actually exposing themselves to a sales opportunity. What's that worth? What's it worth to you? Is it worth $500? Is it worth?
Oh, to garner that lead?
How much do you think how much value is in that person? Because you've been spending money, right? But that's a pretty good prospect. What do we think that's worth? That's what
They identify it for you.
Yeah.
They'll say this is $130.
Yeah.
That's what it's worth to you.
Well, for
I
me,
think it's probably
you're
worth
asking
more.
what it's worth to me. Well,
Yeah.
once I've met with them, I've got a 50-50 judgment on these guys, just for me. Will they qualify or not? On this one, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I don't know how much debt they have. I don't know if they have bankruptcy. I don't know those questions yet. That's unusual. Most times when people come to you, they've at least spoken with a lender or something. They have some knowledge of something.
Well, I don't think you can qualify. I think that leads into future referrals.
That's correct.
Right.
So when you look at that one particular one, even if that one doesn't work, if you do your due
You guys approach the number, yep.
they will.
I don't think you can analyze the data for a while.
Wait, that's why you need a period, you need you need a year
Yeah.
to look back at it and say, now, what are my numbers?
Right.
And what worked? And should I change this zip code over here because that one's not been working for me?
Yeah.
And really keep modifying that thing until you really get down to what I want. Carolyn, I don't know how you've been doing it. What I want to get to is what I compute as a 3.0 return on my investment. Now, they compute it a different way than I do. They do it on gross, I do it on net. For example, let me give you an idea. I'll just give you my in-game idea. I'm kind of an open book. I don't even hide. So this year, it seems like a big number. Don't worry about it. Like I said, you only get there in stages and you build it. I will have spent About close to $20,000 on leads. Well, I'm not quite where I want to be on my ROI. Right now, I'm looking at my numbers, I'm probably have made about 65,000. I want to make 80 gross if I spent 20. So my thing, see, when you
Gross
guys,
to me.
Gross or net?
Gross to you, not gross to Roy Wheeler.
this is my money.
This is your money.
These are
Okay.
my checks.
Yeah.
So where I want to be is if I'm spending 20 on all these things, I want that thing lean and mean and working so good that it's producing a total of $80,000 of income. So 80 minus 20, that's 60,000 increase versus the 20 spend. That's what I call 3.0. They call it 4.0.
Yeah.
I want to do it on net. You know, if I'm going to spend 20 and I'm going to put that money at risk, I want to have a good shot at making 60 profit. Absolutely. That's what I'm looking at.
Well,
right
I
now.
guess what I'm trying to get back to is, yeah, you're looking at the net of your return. But in between what you spend and what you make are your prospects. Right? You've gotten all these phone calls, and you've responded to them, and you haven't converted 100% of them to a sale. Right? So,
Not even close.
you know, at some point that prospect has got an economic value, and I'm just curious what that is.
Well, like Carolyn said, Zillow actually gives you,
It
it'll
feels like
show
it's
you
a
in a
pretty good,
minute.
it feels like it's worth a good bit of money. I mean, if you convert 25% of them, right? And
They're
they're
talking one
They're
of
talking
those
less than that.
25.
They're
Well,
talking 4%.
Yeah.
Bob, Zillow
convert
has the
an
metrics.
appointment into a sale.
What
No,
I'm saying,
lead.
a lead. So if you've got 25
But this
leads,
is
you
an
can
appointment.
convert from one.
I mean, this is
Oh, I see
real-
what you're saying.
This is an
But once you
appointment. This
visit,
is somebody you've actually talked to, who now is gonna look, and yeah, they've got all the hair on the dog, right? They may not qualify, they may not be telling you the truth,
That's what you're saying.
but they're worth something. There's in potential income, and it feels like they're worth a lot.
Well, not only that, but the thing, so like I'm talking about, okay, I'm spending this, I'm making this. Well, I know it takes me more, you know, I've got some expenses, I've got gas in my car, I've got my time, I've got other money. But the truth is, I don't know, this year I might have 10 closings, I don't know how many it is, from these leads. Well, those are 10 satisfied clients that are now my clients.
Yeah,
We're gonna sell a house one day. And I mean,
And with that,
and
That's what
I already
I'm saying.
closed, I have a referral client right now, Jordan Angelich, that came from a friend. He was a friend of Kofi Asante, who I helped. Zillow, and so, you know, you get those, you're building your business in many different ways. I'm gonna switch over to Zillow. Let's see. Oh, yeah, so wait a minute, before I leave from Realty.com, so all it takes is you can just, you go to Realty.com, you can see that there's plenty of reps that are gonna wanna talk to you about selling the zip code. So remember, you can do shared or unshared. I'm choosing to go back in with unshared leads. They're more expensive. For me to buy an unshared lead in 22902 costs me probably $320 a month, just one little share, which I forget how many leads that's supposed to get me. But what that means is, if I'm paying for this and it's my next turn in line and it's an unshared lead, and I'm the next one online, and once that thing's clicked, it comes into me. Yeah, I get it. I know it's not going to another agent. I don't have to compete with automated texts and all that kind of stuff. I personally don't like to do automated text. When I see it come in, I would rather pick up the phone, do an initial phone call.
Well, can I ask you one question? So do you just, with the 20,000 you're spending, is that just in one area code or you got several?
I've modified it.
Depending on where
I'm
you're-
testing another area right now. I've got two agents in my office that I've got on the team with me, Lee and Kim. Or I put them on a team with me, because in Zillow, they give us more opportunity. You have more ability to work this thing in Zillow. In Realtor.com, you just buy the leads, and it's gonna come to you, and there's no like team working or anything like that. And so I have modified, I tested Keswick area, because I was wanting to get it like some Glenville stuff. Not far from our office in Dallas Crossroads. It just didn't turn out well. I've never had good experience with the Keswick zip code. It just doesn't produce many leads. And if it does, it's never in Glenmore. It's somewhere else, and it's a single wide trailer. I don't want to pay for that. So right now I'm testing the Gordonsville zip code, which covers Spring Creek, which is just north of our office. I would love to be able to get more of a market share in Spring Creek, which we don't really have much of it at this moment. And I've got, what I did, because on Zillow, we're allowed to do this, I can create a team and I can actually put them on round robin in that team. So right now I've got in Zillow, that zip code for Gordonsville, I've just got it, it goes, the first lead that comes in goes to me, the next one goes to Lee, the next one goes to Kim, goes to me, goes to Lee, goes to Kim, you kind of do it that way. So there's different options when you go into Zillow. And Zillow's a different story though. So here, you just have the option, you buy shared or you buy unshared.
Excuse me, you said unshared is like about $325 a month. What is shared? Is that less?
It's much less,
Uh-huh.
much less.
Like
You can probably get it $150 if you want to start it off, and they may give you the, the inside path if you want to do the automated texts as well. I don't know if you have to buy a certain amount from them before they'll do the full automation for you. But you can start off more inexpensively to try that. I just got tired of, and once I know that everybody's going to be automating those immediate texts immediately, and I kind of don't want to fight against that. Because before the automation came, I'm like, I'm fine. I can pick up the phone as fast as anybody can. But now that's all changed.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to pay more money and know that when it comes to me, if I'm on the road or whatever, I can have a few moments to pull over, do what I want to do, check on the property, and make a quick phone call. That's just me. Everybody else can make their own decision. Okay, Zillow, we'll look at that site.
I'll get ready to. To be honest, well, different. Life, but a real estate family. Kids trying to.
Karen, what zip are you doing?
Cousin.
Oh, that's right.
Interesting.
Good. So it's done well for you.
Yeah, I ran the numbers in the summer, and I'm getting ready to do it again because I started last December. I got a free month, and, which was actually true. I did get a credit on that. So I didn't do it on net, but I'd spent 8 and maybe 40 at that time.
Cool.
So it's seems to have really kind of shifted now, and I'm getting a lot more lower priced leads. It's interesting because there's so much new construction out there. I'm wondering. I was helping these buyers from Atlanta from Zillow, and I've signed a buyer brokerage. I finally got myself disciplined to do that. But, and the builder rep was like, "Yeah, I've written 2 contracts this morning on this phase 4 and blah, blah." And I'm like, "Did he say these buyers? I'm not wondering where they're coming from, and do they have homes to sell, and like how are they getting that? I guess the model home and all that stuff that's pretty big out there. But it's slowed down, and I'm really interested, and I sort of amped up my spending, and I just pulled back on it just for the last couple of years. So I want to look, I think the net idea is a good idea.
I'll just share with you what I found out about the timing, because there ebbs and flows when leads are coming in or not. And I just came through a period where they all like, where's everybody? Like, it's like a month or more, just like, I haven't got anything, what's going on? And all of a sudden, I just showed you this one lead, and the other, I had 3 right here that came in a week. I've met with all 3 of these people. The one, this client that called on the $925,000, she's a financial advisor over at Wells Fargo. He's a manager of a GE. I met them at the house. I crunched numbers for them. I called Aaron, the listing agent, and said, we don't see the numbers, and so, but I believe we're going to be working together. And, it's the starting of that process. So what I found is that for me, and I talked to my rep about this at Zillow, they find that the real hits start to happen the first of the year. For me, it was right after Christmas. It was, I looked at a closing I had in June, and it was like, I went back to my original sheet that I printed out. It was December 26th. The first hit. And,
December was pretty good. I was
Yes.
surprised.
And my rep said that is exactly when, you see, over here, we're looking at all these people out there in the interweb. They're just beginning the thought process. Spring's not here, summer's not here, but in the winter, they're beginning the thought process, and whoever is out there to gather those people, you're the ones that, see, this is where it's changed over years. It's like I believe if we're not out there gathering those people at the beginning process, by the time they get down to start getting more localized, they're already gone.
Oh, yeah.
They've got an agent.
Oh, yeah, there's so many people that aren't working with agents, it's staggering. But that's a great point about the vendor mix, on these lower price ones. A lot of first-time buyers with interesting situations, and I've been kind of pressing them on getting pre-qualified in some of the properties. don't qualify for some of this traditional financing, and I've gotten some pushback from super young, like millennials, like my kids' age, like, I just want to see that. But I pushed them, you know, a little harder than I would normally because it's been an interesting property, or my grandmother's gonna co-sign for me. Yay. And they're so naive, they don't understand, so, but I've probably pushed, and I'm not a pushy person, but I think I've pushed a couple away by being, because normally I'm fine with showing one house without knowing if they're qualified, just get that rapport going. On some of these interesting properties in the first time buyers, I pushed a little hard, I think too, recently.
Do you go out and preview the homes before you show them?
Yeah.
Because they're not your listing, so you're
Although on
walking
Zillow,
in cold.
on Zillow, they often think you are the listing agent because there's four in rotation, there's.
And they don't
primary,
read the fine
primary,
print.
Very fine print.
Very
Listing
fine
agent
print,
is
very,
at the
very
bottom.
subtle, yeah.
Listing agent, because I've been searching like who's where without, you know, who's the
Zip
top
code.
agent. You go by the zip code. If you go look at zip codes, you can get an idea of who the people are, and then you just keep clicking around. You know who's bought the leads and who haven't.
It's true.
I'm-
I'll show you in a minute. So here we are on Zillow right here. We're in 22902. We'll just pick up, we'll select the property right over here. I don't know what that is. What is it? Now you see, oh, I'm showing that house. So I showed that off of the Zillow lead. I already did that. Because that's my zip code. So, you're getting close.
You showed Buttercup Lane?
Uh-huh.
Who named that road?
Yeah. So you know, I can
No,
look
I
at
wasn't me.
don't let this confuse you. This is like, I'm the prospect. This is not me as an agent over here.
This Princess Bride.
So let's go down. Now, the difference that you'll notice real quick, I think is what Carolyn, you guys are talking about. You'll see agents' little head icons pop up. Well, look at that. There's my buddy Nikki. She's right there above me. Oh my gosh. But see, here's what the difference is. You remember on Realty.com, you didn't see any of this.
Right.
You didn't know who was going to call you. Well, right here, you got a contact agent button. You can do that, and it will go to the next agent in line. But the cool thing here is they will see our little headshots. And if the prospect wants to, they can click on us and check us out. Because you have your little bio, you have your recommendations from Zillow, and this is why on Zillow, not so much Realtor.com, Zillow is really important. You see these numbers right there?
Vaguely.
Well, it's hard to see here. So
Number of-
it's two numbers. It's one of them is how many recommendations have your clients given you online and what's your recent sales in the market. So that's one of the things my rep told me to work on, to get up, which I do regularly. Every time I have a closing, I will then have a system where it reminds me to send my sold client a recommendation request. So they have to go online and fill it out, and then it'll increase your numbers. So I've got 41 recommendations from past clients. And you just want to keep building that number because it makes you look good.
Can I ask you a question? Does it have to be a Zillow qualified lead, or could it be anybody that you close with? So let's have that client I didn't get from Zillow.
It doesn't matter. You can send them, there's a link that you send them. You just email them the link and say, hey, and I just have a little standard header, like an email that says, hey, could you go to this link and fill out the Zillow recommendation for me? It really helps my online presence.
So in Zillow, if you're starting out or you've done like 4 transactions or something, you know, aren't you gonna look like a big old loser if you're up there and it has like 0?
There's a lot of people that have zero still there, but so that's where I would say you can, I think that you can go into Zillow now. I think you have a profile, I think.
Yeah.
Any of us have it if you're on our database. I believe you can check, I'll show you my profile and you can go into yours, I hope. I don't think you have to be buying zip code before you have Zillow profile. So I think you can go into your Zillow profile now, even before you buy leads, and build up your recommendations now before you launch.
But I mean, you can't just create them out of there. I mean,
No.
they got, so if you're, let's say I have done a few transactions, but let's say I was coming in here cold. Strikes me that, you know, if you're sitting up there with a none, you're gonna be spending money that if that's one of the determinants, you might as well not even spend the money.
Well, see, I'm in agreement with you. When I started, I'm sure Caroline, when you started, I had 2 or 3. And I'm like, and my rep was saying, Maury, you need to build these up.
Yeah.
Like, yes, sir, I'll get at it, sir. And then you start the process and it takes a while.
Yeah.
So can you go back to like the year before and contact those clients and have them
But you can send any clients, yeah, you can send the link to any clients of your past clients. And what I do is I have a two-step process. I figured out it worked better for me. So once I have a closing, I have just like a little copy of an email I send that says, hey, Jim and Trish, whatever, something about your closing. And by the way, would you be willing to fill out a Zillow recommendation for me? It really helps my online presence. I just do that first and I want to give back an affirmation first. It says, of course we're willing to do that. I say, great, I'll send it to you in a day or two. And then when it comes, they're expecting it. Then they click, they go into it, they fill it out, and you get great recommendations. So you just give one at a time on that.
So when a customer of Zillow is online and they see this website, right, what I'm looking at, that page, can they click right on a name and send their request to one of those 4 people?
Yeah, so for example.
So they can evade the automatic rotation and just pick whoever.
That's correct. So
They can pick the person they like.
They could.
You're paying to be one of the
Right.
3 in
And you're praying that they click on just you.
You probably can't see
the.
this.
As opposed to they just put it in a general request.
Well, they can put contact agent up there,
That would go
and
to the
that
next
gives you
one.
all 3 of those.
It's gonna go to the next person in line.
So it could be one of the 25 people who bought a share of that zip code.
Exactly.
But they could avoid that by just clicking
Yes.
on your picture.
Oh, so
And-
those 3 are not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed. That's just what pops up next time. I'm not sure if it means that Nikki's the next in line. I don't know. I don't have a thing with that.
Well, I thought that you would pay extra to have your picture pop up. Is that not true?
No, this just means simply that I'm buying the zip code, Nikki's buying the zip code, Quentin's buying the zip code. You can't see it almost, but Stasha, the listing agent, you can't really tell, that doesn't stand out.
But there could be 25 people, just using that number you had said, that have bought a share of this zip code.
Exactly.
And
Do they
so-
tell you? Tell you what,
What Bob's saying, did they tell you how many people buying that zip?
I can ask my rep. I think it's 20 or 25 or so.
And so we're thinking that picture may rotate.
It will.
It's not based on, gee, I'm in the top 4, and then
No, no,
I get
no.
my picture.
If I pull
This
this up.
kind of goes to
Well,
Ed's comment.
let's
If you're a
watch.
loser and you're starting at the bottom,
Let's
your
watch.
picture never comes up.
No, you go through it, but you're still gonna have the loser number
Yeah,
there
well, that's
versus
part-
the person with
Well,
41.
The loser.
it's
I'm a little
really,
tough on myself.
it's really important. My husband, who was in marketing for 14 years, is my unofficial assistant, and he, when I was starting out, didn't have very many reviews. He was really, I had a professional headshot done, and that picture is worth everything.
Yes.
And your reviews will build, your bio needs. I had an agent in Northern Virginia who didn't even ask for a trophy. She looked at my picture and my bio and she said, this is who you want to work with. I was like, do I call her? Does she want to refer? Don't say anything. But, so the picture is really important. Just do what you can do that's within your control. And it will build and it will come. I had some sellers who ended up not selling. I brought them a really compelling offer. It's a very long story I won't go into. They decided to stay put, and I think that was the right call for them. But because I treated them with such integrity and kindness, and let them say, this is a pivotal moment, you guys decide what you want to do next, I will support whatever you decide. I asked them for a review, and it was raving. We didn't close, but I served them. And so they were my clients, and so I was like, I'm going to ask them too, and they're like, of course.
But to that point, does Zillow have any way of proving that they're clients? In other words,
Yes, they have this other kind of algorithm. My husband tried to write a review for me, and
Right.
it sounded so generic. They actually didn't publish it.
right,
We were just testing. it.
right.
So, I don't know what it is that they do to prevent fraud. You do have to have a Zillow account.
Yeah.
You do have to, and so I always tell people that in my emails. You do have to, give them your.
Like Airbnb, you can't have a bunch of reviews up there that are fake. They have to be people that they know who stayed there, because it goes through Airbnb, so,
Let me keep going here. So let's, just to show you the rotation, I'm gonna click on the same house again and see if it comes up there. It should be different agents, I think.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Michael Davis, Craig Gillard, and Nikki's back in there again, because Nikki, she paid for that.
Well, I think the other, I can't see the name of the other person at the top is there too.
That stops you from looking at.
Oh, okay.
But is that why she's at top or is she at top?
Okay, so she'll be there all the time.
That's right.
Okay.
The funny thing is, you're a member of the general public, you can't really see that.
No. I
And
You have to look really hard for that. You have to look on that.
And it used to be underneath their
It used to be
name,
there.
and it was hard to see, and now it's on the side, so it's a little bit easier.
But you're saying that in this particular case, this individual is the listing agent, but they may not have paid Zillow for the zip code. But
And you
they're still
basically have to look
showing
at
up.
everybody underneath that top
Yeah.
photo.
See, I don't think any listing agent pays Zillow at all. They just pull listings from MLS.
Yeah, I'm just surprised they would promote an individual who's not paying them.
Well, it's their supply.
Yeah.
Without the
Without-
lister,
yeah.
Without
the listings make
agent,
no
they
difference.
can't make any money.
I got you.
There could be some requirement that they must post it somehow.
I would want that, wouldn't you? I mean,
Well,
Sure, sure.
they
You
are-
are MLS, I mean, yeah. I think it might be a requirement, but. All right, now I'm going to just show you my Zillow profile so you can see just how things look for one of us individually once we're on here, and the stuff that you can do with it. It's pretty cool. Well, here's my inbox. It was with my inbox. So it actually gives you a list of past clientele that's coming. That was one I just talked about.
So this is your dashboard, effectively.
This is my dashboard, but see here, right here, I've got, like I said, in the Gordonsville zip code, I have Kim and Lee, he's not that much farther down, on kind of a rotational basis. So I can just see on my dashboard that this potential was Kim. And notice that one said don't follow up. I had to talk to Kim about this today. I saw her last night, but I didn't get a chance to talk to her. I can't see it on here.
And they're part of your team.
They are. There's nothing to click there. Sometimes it says don't follow up because we're contacting multiple agents. Always contact them. Always. But what I want to show you over here. Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you're going to do Zillow, it is important to get the recommendations up. There I am, there's Lee and Kim, part of my team. And so down here, you can write up your little bio. I like to do something short, it's really brief, and then they can read if they want to. And then down here, they're going to have all your listings and sales, your active listings listed. One of the things that I found important to get your sales up that sometimes, like these last sales up here, you think who that was? That was friends of mine that bought a Ryan Homes product up in Riverwood. These folks, that was Belvedere, Stanley Martin. That was clients that came from Zillow. You see the purchase price of that one right there. They were from Brazil. They bought a house for their mom, so I walked through the whole new construction process with Stanley Martin for them. Now, see, Caroline, I don't know if you've gotten into this or not, but this is your past sales that will come up on that little blip beside your head. So when it's an existing house, sometimes Zillow will pull it up automatically. I've noticed when it's a new construction, I have to put them in myself.
Yeah.
So every time I have a sale, about a week later, I'll go back and see if it has arrived on my Zillow page. If not, they have a place where you can go and manually enter it in. You make sure you get your past sales in. So I had to add these 3 in just recently. So you just make sure those things are up to date and you keep your numbers by your little head icon the best way possible.
In sales, well, obviously, sales counted here as buyer's rep.
Oh,
Say
and
that again,
listing
I'm sorry.
sold. Listing sold as well.
Correct.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, with the buyer, if you're the buyer's rep, that's the sale.
Yes. Yeah, either side, you can enter down. Yep. And so then there's the starting of my 41 reviews. These are just things that I sent them to me. I mean, the link to people. And they just filled it out. I mean, this is my client who was, I don't know if any of you use top-notch computers over, they're my computer folks that fix my stuff when it messes up. Dan Fitzgerald is my dude over there. So he was my client. He considered himself a buyer as well. freaking out. That was fun. So anyway, these are just real, from real clients. You get all these on there and you want to build those as much as you can. And it really helps you. So, unless there's questions, the final thing I was going to show you some of the leads that I had that this is real. Like I said, this lead here, and there's another one I've got that just came in. Over the past 2 weeks, I've had 3 leads that came in that turned into actual face-to-face meetings. I only have 2 of them here. But it does come in ebbs and flows, and that's one of the things, like if you start buying the zip code, you have to be ready. That you might go 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks, like, where's everything? I'm paying for this, right? You know, it kind of feels that way, right? And then all of a sudden, your phone is blowing up with stuff. And you're out, okay, let me get this one. Oh, let me get that one. Oh, I just had an email this morning, just a few minutes ago, from Tom Pizzuti from New York. It was a Zillow lead. He was going to fly down, and I was going to show him properties today. But his plane broke down. So he's coming Thursday. And that was another Zillow lead. So I mean, it's just a regular cycle, trying to get that conduit filled with people. Some of them work, some of them don't work, but you just keep working them all.
And then the other thing, it's sort of like looking at it like the stock market in terms of don't panic when things sort of ebb. You know, they will flow again if you're patient and you're consistent. You will reap the rewards. And then what I found, I sent out a monthly email, not a constant contact, but a real personalized to my database of clients. But a lot of these Zillow prospects are in there whose timetable is just not immediate, that I've established a rapport with, that I'm trying to be in front of them every month. Michael told me you call me more than I do. But, so I feel like there's a pipeline of people that is building. So even though things are kind of quiet right now, I just encourage myself every day. I'm just going to keep at it. And I think that some of this will come to fruition in 2019. Because people are just, I've got a lead in Paris, one in Hawaii. They're kind of keeping an eye on the market. Their timetable is not immediate. But I have their emails, so they're getting something from me once a month. I'm getting my face in front of them. So,
Were both of those from Zillow? Both those clients from Zillow? Cool.
and that started last December, by the way, when I got my 3 months. I was like, I don't want to start in December. And they're like, we'll give you 3 months. So, but I was like, oh my gosh, these people are looking. This was before Christmas. So, you know, it's.
Are there a ton of agents in Charlottesville that want this, you think? Or not as many?
Oh, that's right. I'll show you something. How many agents are doing the real numbers as far as paying good money for the leads? That's because a bunch of them, there's a lot of agents just doing a little teeny bit, which doesn't really compete that much. So it's okay. Let me show you.
What's that?
Roy Wheeler has a small percent.
I'll show you that. Well,
Does Roy Wheeler pay for any portion of your expense?
No.
It's
No.
like an advertising?
no,
So this is all on your nickel.
that's correct.
You're spending, and Maria, if you're doing this, you're spending about $1,500 a month.
About 1,700 right now.
And how many leads will you get on average per month? I mean, you talked about kind of 3 or 4 times what you're spending, so that's in essence a sale a month, right? To create.
Yardstick there.
And how many of those, to get to one sale, are you, again, I'm back to this conversion. Is it 1 out of 4, 1 out of 6? I know
It's not that high. It's going to be much less than that. But in one sense, I don't care as long as the numbers work.
Yeah.
I'm happy. One of the things that sold me on this was way back 4 years ago when I was just testing the waters, and I just did a small $150, $150. Let me see what happens. One of the first clients I got, her name was Nancy Diamond, really cool lady. She was from Seattle. She happened to be here this weekend. She'd already looked at houses with other agents. And it was an early Zillow lead, like that Nancy Diamond. It was like a $700,000 house. And it was one of my early ones, you know? Like, so I called her, she said, well, I'm flying out of here, but why don't I meet you? So we met up here at the Head Mall. We hit it off well. She'd already seen houses with other agents. And nobody got her to be their client. So we hit it off well. I said, oh, do some searches for you. I know you get on the plane. We started up. I helped her buy a $730,000 home over for you. And she worked for Nike. That's just cool. You know, neat people. And, once I got that, I was like, dang, oh, this thing kind of works, you know. I paid for you. That paid for everything, yeah, for 2 years probably, you know. So I'm like, okay, I can skim down.
I mean, it seems like, it feels like it's a very legitimate way to build a business. You gotta invest, you gotta spend your money, much better than just running an ad in the paper.
These people are on.
Where,
I wish I'd spent my 2,000 there versus the football and all that, you know what I'm saying? Give you name different things, they're trying to get you out there, but I'd rather get qualified leads.
Yeah, these people have actually, they're in your store. If you went to Ryan Homes and just looked at prospects and walked through the door, they'll tell you how much it costs. And it's real money. I mean, you talk to a Ryan Homes sales rep and who has a customer walk through their model home, it's hundreds of dollars it costs Ryan to get that customer to show up. And they only do that because it's worth real money to them, right? Where,
Here's my picture. This is what I'm spending, just for dollars. So, you see what I'm, so they give you your metrics if you want to see those numbers, average home value in Belmont, 22902 to 284. Estimated leads per month is 7.6 for what I'm spending right now. Here's your cost per lead, Bob, you want to know that, $153 is their estimate. Cost per lead. They're expecting my ROI is 2.96. I want to be right at 3.0, but they calculated off gross and not net. I've got 41.7% share of the voice, and then this is Gordonville, which is Spring Creek, a little different. So the funny thing is, you go right down here to the zip code. Now we'll see who this is. Who's buying that one?
Yeah.
Ah, Nikki. But you go down the page, and it's funny because I talked to my rep about this when she was talking about you better be in the top 3 more because each year these extra pages for people to see you and stuff. Like, okay, I'll do my best to do that. So I'm squeaking in, right in there. This dude, Mike Hogan, I think he's out of Richmond. He's got this huge team of people. Because I told him my rep was like, he's not even out of anything. And he's buying that zip and other zips, and you can see his home sales are like 356 homes in the last 12 months, you know.
but how many, when you hit that right and scroll down, how many people are in that?
There you go. So here you go. We'll keep going. There's my buddy Tim Grossman, who I've been fighting back and forth with, but now I'm on the top of Tim. Michael Davis, Peg Dillard, you can see their percentages. You've got 20%. Put investment cost tons of. There's Roy Wheeler.
All right, I've got a quick question. How are they figuring out the percentages of these things? Because that definitely adds up well over 100.
Yeah, because, it's far over 100. Because, I mean, when they say I've got 41% share, that does not mean I get 41% of all fees. It's not what that means. I don't know how to.
Makes you spend 41% of the money.
That's what I think you're saying, 41% of the money.
It's probably what it is. All I care is the numbers work. I really,
Yeah, well, I'm not down, I think one.
Can you go away from the bottom? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a number guy.
There you go, well, let's go back and see.
This game first.
So is that Michael Bonus?
Don't you go in, Chris manages those. I think they have, you can get on their system and they portion of that. People pay them. And there's a percentage.
We set a rate
on that too. I think we're paying, you're doing that on cost. But at 4.5% monthly, you don't get much.
And
I'm gonna move this slide and you can see, I can do this now. I can buy it right now. I can just fire up, you can on top. And in my contract.
And then if you were to do that, already that money, they charge you automatically.
I'm already, my credit card's on file there, and I can do it now.
Automatic response options.
if we spend over a certain amount of meetings, you have an automatic concierge that works for you, that if you're in a meeting, or if you're I'm not calling someone at 1:30. I'm not even calling anyone after. My cutoff is about 9, because I don't want them to have a pressure look.
I was just,
Even when I got a call and
I was just kind of figuring what you guys
call them the
said
next
for zip
morning
code.
and
Right.
establish a rapport with her.
The bills change.
But
And
It does work, and
oh, there it is. This is just the zip code. I'm right now spending that. So I am right. Parking pretty close. Yeah, okay, got it. So I can change it. This is the fun thing. It's like, I can do it right
Yes.
now. If you want to, I was like, hey, wait a minute, I want to beat my Hogan out. Okay. I can go, oh, I got 70%. I can do it. I just lock it in and I can pay them right now. Wow.
You're doing fine the way you are.
It's fine. You kind of figure out what would be handled.
Right,
Because you surely don't want these to come in this, you're overwhelmed.
right,
I'm
exactly,
paying my work.
right.
But it sounds like.
In
That's
hindsight,
why you might want to get a, some answers.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's, as you're doing the team thing.
And put pounds of
And now, when you do that,
On the website.
do they like charge you and they can get money from the others, or can they charge them if you're on the team, and they
And then
split
they're
the,
paying coffee. I don't know what they call me, but I'm
the
the.
lead, so to speak?
Yeah.
Team leaders.
So you get charged and then you get payment from them?
Oh, all I do, you can work out with an agent or whatever you want to work out. What I do with my guys is I just want a referral fee. Y'all close the sale and they'll send me a 30% referral.
No, but I mean on here, with
It's on
your
you.
team, it's on you,
It's on
and then they pay you.
They pay it through, they pay
Through
it through the
referral,
referral.
through referral fee, okay, okay.
Yes.
So they're not paying Zillow anything,
No, I'm the one taking all the risk.
got it, and then you'll make up hopefully with your referral fees,
Yeah.
okay.
And if I do it for 3 or 4 months and I see the numbers aren't crunching up, then I'll stop.
Say no more team.
I'm gonna change my mind.
Or change something around.
Yeah.
So Maury, before you conclude, this has been great, thank you. You have other alternatives, like run ads in the paper, right, buy the thing into the ball game. There's lots of ways realtors can spend money to promote their business. But there are other online options, right? Google, right? You could go into Google and try to buy hits.
Show me the numbers.
Yeah, well, that's what I was asking. Have you looked at the alternatives and?
I'm not saying anything that's worked like this, because I mean, my position is this, after I've looked at every different thing, and there's been other concepts of like, hey, create your website, get it on the first page of the search engine, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
right.
Wait a minute, I'm trying to drive people to me. Why don't I go where people already are?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Everybody's
right.
here.
I do like the fact that these people they've actually exposed themselves to a sales opportunity, which takes a lot for a customer, right? Even people who know what they want, that they want to buy something, they still are reluctant to kind of put themselves out there. These people have actually put themselves out there
They've at least put the
Invite
website,
the phone
I
call.
want information, yes. And so my experience has been, I want to go to where statistically is the highest used sites, and it's just Realty.com, Truly, and Zillow. When another player comes along, and they're right up at the top, look at that too, but right now there really isn't. Everything else is far below those guys. I tried another one called Maloka. Nothing.
Right.
If you were to suggest new people, if we were to decide to do this, is there one you think that would be more beneficial than the other between these two?
I'm going to segue into the final thing, which is the change in Zillow. I think Realtor.com to start with, just because you can just buy the lead now and it will come to you versus, I don't see, I'm at a higher level with Zillow right now, so I don't know what the entry levels are anymore. Because they're changing their system, and as of the first or second week in November, they're going to only the concierge program. It's a really cool program. So Caroline, do you have like a Zillow concierge into your phone, so when it rings, it's like,
I get Zillow live transfer on
Yes.
here.
so yes.
But, yeah.
So that's the difference. Realtor.com doesn't offer that, and Zillow is going all the way over to this new system now, because it's kind of impartial. All these things I'm showing you right here, when a lead comes in, we have a Premier Agent app for Zillow on our phones. It'll come in on your phone. You can pull up all the information right there. It comes in as an email. I can pull it up here on my email or here on my email. That's going to stop in about 2 weeks. Did you know that, Caroline?
I did not.
Okay. You might talk to your rep.
Okay.
My knowledge is this is going to stop, and I don't know if it's just because I'm already in the concierge program, but I got the impression from talking to my rep that everything's going to the concierge program.
Meaning everyone will have to spend $1,000?
No.
Okay.
Meaning, we don't get these anymore with Zillow. What's going to happen, starting, I think, November 6th, is they have a team of people in California, and that's what the concierge does for us. So I have gotten a few handoffs on my phone from the concierge. I got about 6 of them right now. And so basically, our rep has told us, go on and get Zillow concierge put into your phone contacts, and I do it in caps, Zillow concierge. So if I ever see that phone call come in, like, oh, pick that one up. They have a live transfer. They have the person on their line.
Oh, wow.
They've already pre-qualified that.
That's what mortgage.
Yeah. So they've already asked them the question, are you working with a neighborhood?
Call back.
So you pick up the phone
it's a
and they
lot.
say, hey,
Yeah,
morning,
yeah,
this is Jenny from Zillow. I have Mrs. Smith on the other line. Can you take a call from her? I said, sure, I can. I was already seeing, it's about this property, so I won't go in blind. So when I pick it up, say, hey, yeah, this is Maureen. Yeah, so did you want to set up a showing sometime? So you're already online with a real live person.
So you don't have that 2-minute quick look up to see the property.
They say when they make the changeover, so when the changeover happens, supposedly, Carolyn, we're not going to get any of these things on forefront. It's just going to be Zillow concierge calling.
So you don't have that time to look up real quick and see what it is they're talking about.
What the rep tells me is that it'll be on the line, I can pick it up, and once I make that transfer, the rep is talking to me, I'm able to back off and see something about the property before I'm connected with the individual. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet.
You gotta move fast.
There's gonna be some long holes there.
I don't know that, and I don't know how this, I haven't really walked through it yet, because it hasn't happened. But the changes, that's what I'm saying with Zillow right now, stuff is changing in the last 2 weeks. So I want to see what it feels like when we get there. We talk again.
Yeah.
Not there yet.
On the listing side, because I assume you list property also. Yeah? Would you go, let's say it's in 22902. Is that an advantage? Would you sell that to a customer as an advantage that I'm spending money to collect leads in this zip code? I'm going to get these calls and I'm motivated to help you sell your home. Is that a conversation you'd have?
Yes, with nuance and care. I'm very careful about exactly the words out of my mouth and that kind of communication. I like that. I like saying the absolute foundational truth with no variances, which is, by the way, I'm a Zillow Premier agent in this zip code. Or I can say that maybe it's not that zip code. Maybe I'm doing property listings. Well, by the way, I'm a Zillow Premier agent, and I'm a Realty.com, showcase agent. And that's true. I'll just, what does that mean? It's like, well, I get constant buyer leads in, for whatever it is.
And I want to make sure I'm helping you as best I can as your representative. Now, I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, you worry about, I'm the listing agent, so I don't want to be on both sides. I mean, how does that just play out? But it feels like it's an advantage to the listing people, the sellers, that you would be a premier agent. I mean, that would seem to me to be an advantage in a listing competition that I'm collecting all these prospects, right? That has value.
Well, just let me speak to that point real quickly. Because one thing I do in Virginia, we all have choices as agents of whether we want to do dual agency. Even within Royal River, we individually have that choice. I choose not to. And the reason I do that is when I'm having a listing appointment with a client, whether I'm bringing the buyer in or not, I want to tell my client, you're paying our brokerage fee, you have my representation. I don't care. Now I tell my client, hey, maybe I get a Zillow lead in on your house. Guess what? Here's how I will handle that. Hey, Mr. and Ms. Smith, this is actually my listing, so I am already representing my sellers in the situation. If you want to see the house, I'm happy to show it to you. I will take you through the whole process, inspections and everything, but I can't negotiate on your behalf. And I will have them sign that in writing that they represent. So my sellers always know I'm on their team. And also, if the buyer's not comfortable with that, if you're not comfortable with that, I will get you another agent who can represent you. It's nice to meet you. And you have options.
And if you get, let's say Logan, who's not a Zillow or Realtor.com person, she gets a listing in 22902. Would she go on those websites, figure out who's spending money to get those leads, and would she promote her listing, like proactively? hey, Maury, I want to make sure you know I'm putting this house on the market. If you get a chance, you want to come by and look at it. Hopefully you'll get a lead on Zillow. And does any of that happen? Do you ever get calls like that?
No, I don't know.
So that feels like, again, an opportunity. You have a targeted person who gets collecting
You might
prospects
have 20 people.
for your
that are on
market,
there.
for your market area.
I look at that differently. I guess I've been in business so long doing this, I get weary of the constant barrage of new listing notices.
Yeah, I got
And
it.
I'm constantly deleting. I mean, no, unsubscribe,
Got it. Okay.
unsubscribe. Every day. It just becomes noise.
Yeah.
So that's my position, and I know.
Well, you're valuable. You're spending 20 grand a year to collect prospects, right? That makes you a valuable commodity in relation to every other 900 agents.
Well, true. Not only that, Bob, but we all know, being on Paragon, is that, and Zillow. So my clients have constant searches going on Zillow. I've got constant searches for 12 different clients on Paragon right now. If that listing pops up in that zip code, bam, I'm gonna know at the moment it is. So I kind of gave up on sending out new listing splashes to everybody in the world. Just don't do that.
Yeah, okay.
You just said something, did I miss? So if I was a buyer and I clicked on you, but it's somebody else's listing, do they get notification that somebody has, okay, all right. They get misunderstood.
Yeah, the
Okay.
listing agent gets nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the only one that knows. And it's so funny, but when, like this, really crappy house that's got full of mold came on, came on 2 weeks ago over in, the Villa Verde, Lane, actually. It was another one that was in the same subdivision. And I got his little hit on it, and the guy flew down from somewhere. And he's got a group of people in Richmond that renovate houses, but we looked at it, went upstairs, and like, I'm pulling myself, I'm not going in the basement. It's really not bad. It was a Fannie Mae foreclosure. It was bad. I mean, we both came to the conclusion, rip it down to the studs, get mold remediation, and then rebuild the thing again. So it's like, but it was a new client, and I just said, hey, okay, that was the first one I looked at. I might do some renovations in the area. You're the first good agent I've talked to. I'll use you if I come into the area. Like that. So it was a new client. I'm not sure what I told you that story, but.
Well, I had one to piggyback just to encourage everyone. Last spring, well, I got on in December, and I got this call from a woman who wanted to see a townhouse in Old Trail. I hit it off on the phone. She was Maxine and insisted very quickly that I call her Max, and she started calling me Sunshine. Just what I hugged her after the first appointment. So we go in, and she's like, "I'll take it." And I was like, Max, this is 4 different levels, and she's in her 60s, but she looked older. She just sounded older. It sounded like she had a smile. I was like, I'll show you other things. I mean, there's some one-level villas there. It's like, no, this will do.
Wow.
Wrote the contract, one call, one showing, $380,000
Yeah.
from Zillow. She had.
Was she local or out of town?
She was living with her son. Her son bought over in Waynesburg and had nothing to do
Spend
with
your
her.
money below.
I've been doing a lot of research.
Well, it's not, that's never happened since.
Yeah.
It just crossed.
But it does and can happen.
Well, relative to sitting in an open house, quite honestly, where the 3 or 4 people who might show up aren't anywhere near as qualified as the one you call you get. Right? They've shown up, but they could be neighbors, they could be friends, they could just be looking at kitchens. Right? These people have actually said they're interested in a home. I feel like that is an enormous difference between the typical traffic you get, you know,
Would you be better off
open houses.
Would you be better off sitting in an open house for 3 hours and you're not using your time?
Well,
That's valuable.
I will say I've had 2 listings that are both under contract, one just closed and one under contract. Both people buying came to my own house.
Oh, cool.
So that is,
So, yeah, I don't think it does at all.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, it's just, you know.
well, and I was generally thinking if you're not the listing agent, you're one of the new agents who gets pulled into hosting open houses.
It works. It works.
It worked, yeah, sure it worked.
Oh, but you were listing.
I was listing in
Right,
some
yeah,
open
yeah,
houses
yeah.
and, yeah.
I'm talking about if you're doing, someone's doing a listing for you
Right, I got you.
in an open house most of the time.
This feels like a much more targeted way to spend time and money.
So, all right, guys, that's all I got. You got any more questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Very informative.
That's good too. Solid contract.
Great, actually. I mean, all code, but hey, you know, I'm not ready to go alone.
If you give me a time today. So, probably like you said,
Hey, I'm not one.
Actually, it worked out, you know what, someone didn't want to get this way and ends up being, she's selling. She took a little bit back, but she's selling and buying, and one of her friends came in, so now, after we met with her, then came on, she's gonna sell and buy.
that's how I think. I just.
Wow.
You know, it's like, you know, they gotta sell their houses.
Right,
So area,
I will do an email first.
it's kind of crazy.
It's, back now, so the fire engine.
Yeah,
And those
yeah,
ladies
back
You know what's crazy?
Sunday afternoon. It's been time for Laura's house conference.
For $3,000.
She had.
Or for
And I was
Concert.
And this was,
But I probably-
hey, I want you to come with us.
She invited friends and Laura was.
I'm like, all right.
I didn't know she was doing it.
Yeah. She-
And Laura's is
Two
like-
other guys.
Jet lag a little bit.
Do you know we got a contract on it on the other? Well, now, here's what I'll tell you.
No.
But let me tell you, though, it was one of those situations.
I know you've told me on the basis where I've got it, I told them to go to the great on my
The lady comes
phone,
in.
but it said something about it. I didn't know
We're like,
how
what
to
do we
stay
do?
there, so I gotta make sure it's still there.
Well, she wrote, you know, drum line.
So I don't want to take off.
The drum line, she's a screenwriter. She was in training 5 years ago.
But he did a great job, and I was fascinated.
Her aunt and my cousin, we were best friends, graduated
Still
together.
had problems.
She was gonna,
Been
I
able
can
to
tell she
solve
walk
an insurance issue that might not be an issue.
Joe, you gotta skip
You know, in
church.
other words, whether you need insurance.
Right, that's a good one. So he came down.
You've done your
He
place,
does-
or he's done his ones, I don't think he can make your Airbnb there.
This one was-
Yeah,
He said they didn't.
Seal the deal.
I mean, I think a lot, most.
No, we have-
And maybe it's not an issue.
Women got to
But
listen.
if somebody's wrong, they have to listen, well, maybe you ought to get extra.
That's right.
I don't know where
Never gonna stop.
the gap in coverage is that doesn't work. I mean, you got homeowners.
Yeah.
But so that's the one thing that was business.
My stepdaughter is a producer in LA.
I say I was just impressed with, he told me, I said, well, kind of a marketing strategy.
And she's wonderful with that.
I've only done 2 weddings, 2 weddings in Charleston.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I'm gonna tell you, I called Vinny. You know, I've been coaching 36, a long time. And he's, we're going through this event.
Right, well, he's obviously, you know, he's obviously considered good, people are willing to pay and frank to go to, where you say,
Your testing.
I mean, you know, that's
So what do you say to that?
Well, basically, it's all the same.
At least I can get like certified as governor.
Yes.
For concerts and stuff. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But well, it was just people.
No,
I didn't see.
It's gonna be around a while.
That's
yeah, when you start. Benefits, health insurance is.
Yeah.
You never know when I'm going to take it.
Yeah, no. Thank you very much. That's great. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for your
got anybody in that area that's looking.
That's our problem.
So it's a not, she moved out there and then realized after 10 months, I'll be back.
Oh, that's fine.
So she's taking me through that.
Is what it is.
Quality wise, that's what she said.
All right.
So that if y'all have anything, we'll put it on and there you come buyers.
I feel about that. So if you get
So,
it,
yeah, just think about it.
One more question.
rent it every time, so.
Okay. Well, that's perfect.
Every
That's
time
like,
you see that number come in, and you go on your little Zillow thing on the computer and see your last clients, and it'll show phone number call from somebody. Sometimes it'll have a recording, sometimes it doesn't, every single time. So what I said, I was gonna say to Christine, because I was gonna save the recording for her, so I can say, Christine, I wanna get her on the phone, I wanna play you something, listen. And it's almost like this, God's truth. Hey, Mr. Atkins, this time, house over here, Bourneville, what? 120, no, 134, is it for rent? I'm not gonna turn that into a buy. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but,
yeah,
no, thank you.
I did this one in Jose for it's been on market for 14 years. I actually have somebody in the contract on it. This office still up. And so now I see, we came to an impasse, long story, showed it again. This time we saw that the pitfalls were unkept. We walk up the bridge, so I'm not walking into the river, half an hour. The wife, who wasn't the wife, was the girlfriend, but I was like, the pitbull went after my leg, aggressively jumped on me.
How do you?
So I put my hand up to her, the husband, who's the boyfriend. Big guy, nice as can be, walked forward. I did not stop him. Made peace with the one pitbull, walked her in the house. Talking to her, she goes, Jerry was just bitten. And I was like, I went into this, so like every time I see that address, because blood gushing down me, I'm not calm. Like if this had been one of my children. And first we took care of it, and come down the driveway, and the tenant has turned out to be now on the lease. Goes, yeah, I just got out of jail. And the only other time she's bitten someone is when she's had cuffs. And I'm thinking, well, so I get this call, we figure out, I send them to urgent care, I'll say animal control. I try to take appropriate responsibility, but he sends me a text a couple days later. I just want you to know, I take full responsibility for what happened the other day. I decided to walk ahead. I talked to Michael, I was with the listing agents, that was good to go. And so, anyway, every time now that I get calls on, I have like PTSD. I don't want to deal with anyone because we gave them such a great offer and they had asked for the seller to share any costs. So they ultimately, that was for I was like, didn't get my price. It's probably the best way to buy it. But I've had some things lately just not pan out. I think to the ultimate benefit of my client. And so I realized that this isn't about what somebody costs. It isn't a unit. Of course, you need to make a living, but really there's just some things that you sort of, I think, still need. Am I really caring for them as opposed to any other situations? But anyway, so now I see that come up, like someone calls me Steph Howard later, I'm like, oh, I don't want to call them. It's terrible. But it's because of this, all this association with this property and dog fight. But anyway, I kept getting a lot of lower price calls, and I'm not finding myself very enthusiastic because they do have complicated situations.
Well, and so Caroline, so that,
Do you ever have that, I guess?
here's my position. So I have.
I know you gotta go.
No, I'm good. So for years, I've always been, I want to give everybody, and I know you are too, you're just the exact same way, I want to give everybody the same service. I don't care what your economic status is. Now, but the truth is, we judge no one by race, skin color, anything. We don't. But we do judge them by who he is. And we should too. If I can judge quickly, you can't buy.
then I've got to quickly make that market decision for my business. You don't have the ability to purchase and you're not done with it. Maybe there are people by their ability to purchase.
Because I have discriminated that way in terms of insisting that they call J or from the get-go, as opposed to showing them this double wide, which won't get FHA,
That's correct. You got
USDA, PA financing. And the youngest ones, the most naive ones,
Yes.
have been the ones pushing back.
Yeah.
And one got irritated with me, I just want to see it. I said, oh, I'm happy to show
Because
you.
I've done that. So in my youth when I started, I was pushed and pulled by those people. I'm in the book, and I was pushed and pulled by those people. And I've decided I got beat up so many times. It's just like saying, I've been over backwards for you. And then as long as I don't meet your needs, you know, you just don't. You just do what you, but then I found out, it's like, oh, wait a minute. You had a bankruptcy 1 year ago? You're coming to me and you're demanding to see the double my trip. You don't care anything about my life. You care nothing about it. And that's the truth. It's all about them. You don't even worry about that. Don't you put that upon yourself. There's too many people out there that it's all about them. They care nothing about you. And they don't mind you. They just want to use you and they'll discard you and do it. And I think it's our job in managing our business and our business we're all managing. And the big business is, wait a minute, you are actually a really serious time waster, and you're not even going to have a discourse with me. And I'm not trying to force you into anything. I'm just trying to find out, are we moving down a correct path that will bring you to being a house purchaser if you want that? If you're not a house purchaser, I love you, but I'm not spending time with you. I'm here to help people buy homes, rent homes, and not anything. So there should be no, I guess maybe something you guys can tell me. It's just like, nope, that's not my responsibility. And I'm not, because you can care about people, but it's almost like tough love. You know? Like, no, I'm not angry. My demeanor's not mad at you. No, it's just that you can't buy a home. No, Mr. Atkins, I want to see it. Yes, but have you talked to a lender? Well, no, but you see, I just want to see the house. We just want to see that. But if you've not, and I've learned, I've learned different lines. Just said, Jim, if you haven't spoken with the lender yet, I'm not ready to get you out there to the house, because what if, Jim, you guys would absolutely fall in love with it, and then you come back, and then, oh, well, you can't buy it, and then before you fall in love with the house, then don't get over that one. So, no, you just still what you want to see. It's like, Jim, you need to get pre-qualified. Once I can tell that there's a problem, then I'll put out, let's see, I just want to keep the carefulness about treating everybody the same. Well, when I had that lady call right there, who wanted to see the house over there, I didn't demand that she be pre-qualified. But when Jim is showing me signs that he is not qualified, got red flags going up all over the place. Just like, let's sit down and have a conversation. When people are becoming unreasonable, I think it's worthy of just saying, I just don't like how they because my point is, if they're unreasonable right at the forefront, we haven't done anything yet, can you imagine walking down a path with them trying to get closer? You've probably experienced, I've experienced that a few times in my career. I had a decent closing, it was a 400-some thousand property over doing that 151s in Ellisburg. Beautiful home. By the time I got to the closing, I handed the lady her keys in her window at Lowe's and got away from her. I'm so glad, and it wasn't worth it. I made good commission. I'm good at it. If I had to choose again, I said no. I don't want to make this $7,000 commission for the girl. It's not worth it.
And I think I'm so sensitive and, I want everybody to like me, but I am maturing in that way. Like, not everyone's going to like me, but I genuinely regret this. I used to work with her. She sent him like this email about the things she didn't like about me. One of them was like, Ron is full of fluff. And she answered in paragraphs instead of a sentence. It was when she asked me about the commission. I wasn't going to say, no, I'm not going to hold my commission. I gave her an explanation. But if we get to an impasse, I wanted to,
Right. No,
you want to sound like, other agent was more real with me, and I thought, Jen, you can just not the agent for her, because that's one thing that no one has ever said that I'm not. You know,
Yeah.
like, I'm the real deal. Like, fluff is not, I'm a lot of things,
Yeah.
but that's not. So it's really fascinating. I think, I left there thinking, I connected with her, but it was not on the park. And I asked her one question. It turns out, because you decide not to sell. I said, what is it? It turned out it was a Jones property that he owned and sold it to her.
Oh.
And I said, so what did you love? What did you love? What made you buy this? What did you love? She said, oh, no, that wasn't right. It's like the perfect ad. She was just saying, and I was like, and she had to stop herself. She choked up. And just was. And so we had like this moment.
After that, she said that.
Yeah, and I'm not frustrated, but I think there are certain people that, she thought I talked too much, which is true. Brevity could be something I could work on. I mean, so that was my takeaway. Like, I can take that and say, okay, sometimes I really do. But the other stuff, I can just say, you know, it's just, she and I really didn't, she didn't feel like I was doing it.
Yeah. And I think that's something for us. I take a journey into tourism. You know? Okay, good.
I am probably a little more extroverted, but I do need that recharge. I think that's more, isn't that more the definition? Do you recharge around people or do you
Exactly. No, I can be on a tractor all day with nobody in sight ever. That's how I was for 10 years. I know some of the
I
worst.
know you told me that.
So yes, I'm the other one.
I'm a little bit.
Okay. Well, that's
So
cool,
what is
actually.
that?
No, but so I guess maybe, let me change the subject, and what I see is that you have a sensitivity to people's reactions and how they're doing. That's what I've always battled. Being an introvert is like, I'm not so much about myself, it's just about, I get too overly concerned about people's reactions. And so I've got to don't care about people. But it's not like, don't be sucked in by the fear of me. And that's what's motivated me, by my fears. Something like that. I want to be stable, secure in myself. And second, 27 years of business, like, I don't care what level of person I'm dealing with. If it's a multi-million-dollar purchaser, like my client at Wells Fargo, she's a financial advisor, and you do, you do. Y'all remember crunchers? Great, because I'm a number cruncher too, so we compared notes and we came up with a on what the value was worth. I'm comfortable doing that with people now, whereas if I started in 1990, you just gonna be those two people, I'd be like, oh my God, these are smart people. I'm not. I'm a farmer stepping off a job tractor. What am I supposed to do? You know? That's how we feel. I'm more about, oh, they're better than I am. No, be confident. You know how to do your stuff. I know how to do my stuff. And I know how to represent my clients and give them correct counsel. I will agree. They don't always have to agree with me. It's okay. We can have disagreements, but as long as we can discuss them, like you said, with that lady, like, well, where'd that come from? I don't understand that partly, but it just looks.
Not trying to be that's funny. I'm like, it's either intentionally. And he said something like, she
well, you've got the inside scoop. Okay, understand.
So she said something like, well, I'm happy to work with you with any of your affiliates. And I was actually like, because and it was just kind of funny, the most interesting feedback. I'm so sensitive that sometimes I don't like feedback because it's negative, but I want to learn from it.
Right.
And so it's just people. But you have really encouraged me about the other.
Oh, cool.
At the beginning, I've had just a lot. And then I had the buyer's plan in building 550 next year sometime. That came in this fall.
Cool.
And they were the first ones I decided to do this 5 burgers thing. Because I was doing it old school from the 80s, like not having to sign anything because I felt so self-conscious about it. Then I thought, I'm gonna take them out for the day, and I'm gonna show them the paperwork first, and say, if you feel like I'm a good fit, I'm
That's
about
the
to
way to do it.
formalize our relationship. We got back here after spending an afternoon, really, it wasn't even a full day. And, I had almost forgotten, my husband goes, didn't you list to sign some paperwork?
Yeah, doesn't that go? There you
It's
go.
not as hard as I thought,
Yeah.
but I think for, and I said, you can fire me at any time. If there's anything that I did about this, I can't make it right. I don't want you to feel it. So, but they trusted me, and so that was my best relief from walking this time. Like, there's been a lot of stuff out there people are calling on just because there's nothing out there.
I mean, right? Yeah.
So I guess, so I am curious to know where these builders, Crozet is exploding and people are coming. And I know a lot of those people are underrepresented. So I've gone to the builder reps and said, if you need homes to sell, I'd love to have you refer me because there's got to be some that are in that category. Yesterday, I was doing more broke two contracts with buyers unrepresented for, I'm sure, over 600,000.
You mean one of the things, San Martin, right?
Because she's a licensed agent. I don't know. I'm just wondering, okay, now why? I've never gotten a call specifically on, well, no, that's not true. Very few have come in specifically for new construction.
Right.
And I haven't gone and taken the time to look and see what the MLS, the artistic rendering will show up, or proposed attached listing will show up, right? That will come. And I just feel like there's a lot of untapped business in this new construction that the builder reps are getting. These people are going under unrepresented because they're just buying a house, building a house, whatever.
Well, I understand, I've had so many San Martin closings lately, in multiple results that came in from there now. One of them was directly, the Brazil closing 2 weeks ago was from the original thing that they spent the lead in, was Belvedere new construction. And that's what we called them, which was unusual, we did something. So I don't know, I have had good success for closing, like this year has been going more new construction for me, I guess because the price points that clients were looking at wound up being that.
Right.
It just happened to be that. I remember you in a couple
But they didn't necessarily call you on.
that specific.
Right,
No.
okay.
Correct, because it was a Belmont, and so my zip code is 22902, I remember the young couple of close Cascade in my home. There was a Belmont initial, whatever, and we just ran into new construction, they wound up on that. So I mean, I think it's gonna come, especially Crozet, because like Kristen, Stan Martin was in here a month ago, talking about how they're really bringing folks to Crozet right now.
Yeah.
So you're in the right zip code. So it's
Well,
not
I
hard.
don't know if that's, I just figured I'm going all in. I know they probably want me to spread out. And maybe if I can do better, I can spread out. But it just seemed to be like getting 10% of
No,
2901.
I agree with you. See, what I did was I was spread out. I was in 22911, which is Forest Lakes.
Right?
And I got a closing from it, but it just happened to be, if you could get at that top tier in any one, or you find as your best producer, I think that's the best starting place. And then if you need to and can, you can expand beyond that. I mean, it's almost like finding out your best bread and butter is like, wow, that's it, this is Crozet for you. I would try to get to the top tier in that one first.
And that's what I'm in the top three, and now I'm not going to over. So
Rod, Rod!
I'm like, oh,
Good to see you, Carol.